Right, it seems the Premier League title race is going right down to the wire following Manchester City's victory over Crystal Palace. With that 3-0 win, they boast a superior goal difference, but still sit 2 points behind Arsenal.
Yeah.
That means beating both Burnley and Crystal Palace is an absolute non-negotiable if we're to lift the trophy.
Mate, don't you think the pressure might just be mounting a little bit in the camp?
Let's clear up a slight misconception here. Prior to the City Palace fixture, the objective was crystal clear. Beat Burnley and Crystal Palace to secure the league.
Yeah.
After City's victory, absolutely nothing changes.
Yeah.
The reality remains the exact same. Win the remaining 2 fixtures and the title is ours. I genuinely don't perceive any added pressure. The players received the memo at the genesis of this title sprint. Win your final 5 games and you are champions.
Yeah.
We've won 3, 2 remain. At this juncture, our destiny is firmly in our own hands. We are the chased, not the chasers. We aren't begging for favours. We simply do our job and the league is ours.
That brings me right back to what you touched on in the last pod about the mental toll of being the chaser versus the chased.
Yeah. I couldn't help but notice the City's gaffer cozying up to the Crystal Palace players after the final whistle. What's your take on this, mate?
Indeed, I observed that as well. He was playing the diplomat, getting into their heads, attempting to fire them up for when Arsenal eventually roll into Selhurst Park.
Yeah.
That is precisely the psychological burden of being the chaser.
Yeah.
You find yourself seeking favours, acting overly amicable to your rival's upcoming opposition.
Yeah.
It forces you to look beyond your own pitch. Overnight, you and your squad transform into fanboy and mathematicians, constantly calculating permutations. The cognitive load is both exhausting and entirely unpleasant, which is exactly why I suspect Arteta and the squad have no desire to be in that position again. There is only one singular objective on our minds, a maximum of 6 points from the remaining 2 fixtures.
6 points, nothing less. Spot on.
Yeah.
But look, an incident happened in that City versus Palace game. A cross from Kamada struck Stone squarely on the hand inside the box. They didn't even bother to have VAR review it, and the media has been deafeningly silent. Now compare that with the absolute uproar over the Raya incident, which was 100% a foul and the correct call. I mean, it really is Arsenal against the world, isn't it?
I reviewed the footage. It was a blatant handball swept entirely under the rug by every major media outlet. Listen carefully. Arteta and the squad are acutely aware that it is Arsenal against the entirety of the Premier League establishment and the media. If that foul on Raya was a 70-30 subjective call, rest assured it would not have been given in our favour. For Arsenal to win this league, we must work twice as hard, both on and off the pitch, compared to previous champions. We must maintain superior performance metric and exhibit a discipline that borders on the monastic. You'll recall last season, the sheer volume of red cards effectively derailed our title challenge, many for offences that hardly warranted a dismissal. But the agenda dictates keeping us grounded. Arteta understands from bitter experience that a 70-30 decision will never swing Arsenal's way. It must be 95-5 to be given. Even when we play the best football in the country, external factors often dictate the narrative. So how did the coaching staff respond? They drilled an impenetrable sense of discipline into the squad. This season, we haven't received a single red card, no penalties have been conceded, and we boast one of the highest fair play ratings in the division. We have unequivocally earned our current standing. Off the pitch, he enforces strict family values to ensure the players remain scandal-free, encouraging engagements and marriages. It dramatically reduces the probability of controversies because he knows that the press will feast on any scrap of negative news pertaining to Arsenal. We are perpetually the cynosure.
You've spoken the absolute truth there, mate. And it brings to mind this whole relationship drama surrounding Leandro Trossard and his wife, Laura.
The tabloids have been digging through her social media for months, desperately trying to stir up controversies to get into Trossard's long before they made the split public a few days ago.
Right.
What's your take on this, mate?
It always brings to mind Micah Richards' assertion, when it's Arsenal, everyone seems to lump in. Discussing Arsenal generates traffic. It is a livelihood for many pundits and journalists. They quite literally cannot survive without us. Frankly, this is the underlying reason Arteta had to sanction Thomas Partey's departure, undoubtedly one of his most agonising decisions, considering Partey was the foundational shot piece of his entire rebuild. He recognised the media scrutiny surrounding the player's legal situation would be overwhelming, damaging the player's performance, destabilising the team, and tarnishing the club's image. Partey himself revealed that Arteta offered him the most profound advice he'd ever received from a manager. Move abroad to a league with less invasive media glare and to continue his career. Had he remained in England, the toxicity would have reached a fever pitch, forcing him away from the squad regardless of guilt. Returning to Trossard, I am just relieved this is surfacing at the tail end of the campaign. Listen, mate, he's been privately battling this for months, which likely contributed to his dip in form during the second half of the season. Sections of the media desperately want Arsenal to stumble, and we must afford them zero leverage. They rarely report anything favourable because they recognise our trajectory. We are on course to becoming the most dominant force in English football, and they are terrified of how powerful we will become.
All right, let's pivot to the team news ahead of the Burnley clash at the Emirates. Mate, Ben White is out for the season, Jurrien Timber is still touch and go, and Ricardo Calafiori is struggling with a knock. Surely this disrupts the team dynamics for these final 3 matches.
Just as the gaffer settles on his preferred starting 11, his hand is forced by injuries. What's your take, mate?
It is undeniably unfortunate to be navigating injuries as we approach the 3 most pivotal matches in Arsenal's modern history. They possess immense confidence in the starting 11 the manager has recently deployed. They are clicking perfectly and dominating with absolute authority. However, injuries are an occupational hazard and we must adapt. With White unavailable, Mosquera inevitably steps into the back line for these remaining Premier League fixtures, pending Timber's fitness assessment ahead of the Champions League final. Thankfully, our squad depth is a far cry from previous seasons. A lack of quality reserves is precisely what cost Arteta the league previously. You simply cannot mount a sustained challenge relying on the likes of Raheem Sterling from the bench. Look at our recent fixture against West Ham. We had the supreme luxury of introducing Odegaard, Havertz and Madueke. Their introduction entirely shifted the match's tempo and engineered the winning goal. This season alone, Arsenal have registered 11 goals and 10 assists from substitutes. We are built for this exact scenario. I don't foresee it fracturing the squad's dynamics. The incoming players are more capable of executing the game plan against Burnley and Palace. My primary concern, having Timber fully fit for the Champions League final, where we face Europe's deadliest front 3.
Before we move on to the transfer window, give me your starting 11 for Burnley from back to front. Who's in and who's out?
Given White's absence and Timber's uncertainty, Martin Odegaard immediately returns to the starting 11. I know the manager has been managing his minutes meticulously due to his knee issue, but without White, we critically need a creator to generate overloads. And with Circa on the right channel, he will find himself isolated and double teamed without a traditional overlapping fullback, as Mosquera operates purely as a centre-back. Odegaard is essential to keep the rhythm flowing on that flank. Furthermore, if you study Odegaard's recent substitute appearances, he is operating deeper in the interior half spaces, his most potent zone. He is no longer burdened with first phase build-up because Miles Lewis-Skelly orchestrates that flawlessly. Odegaard in that half space is an absolute jackpot.
Hold on, mate. If Odegaard comes back into the starting lineup, where does that leave Eze? Or are you shifting Eze out to the left flank?
Eze will have to make his impact from the bench. Starting Eze at the expense of Odegaard would completely unbalance the dynamics on the right side. We cannot afford to render that entire flank anonymous. As for shifting Eze to the left, I wouldn't entertain it. Trossard has rediscovered his rhythm and he remains our most clutch performer. He is the man you trust to deliver that decisive needle-threading goal. Disrupting his current momentum would be counterproductive. You must consistently feed a player in form. Provided Calafiori is fit, Trossard thrives on that left channel. The latest training ground photos suggest Calafiori is back, which is a massive sigh of relief. Calafiori's close quarter interchanges allow Trossard to excel. Trossard possesses that sharp, explosive burst over short distances and creates immense danger when playing off a dynamic defender. He is lethal. Additionally, Lewis-Skelly frequently drives from central areas to create openings on the left. When Trossard recognises Lewis-Skelly's runs, he intuitively creates receiving angle, much like Gabriel Martinelli does. A left flank of Trossard, Calafiori and Lewis-Skelly will cause absolute havoc. Victor Gyökeres continues to lead the line and the back line remains stable with Mosquera slotting in. The gaffer can even do the unthinkable by going for back 3 against Burnley and we revert to back 4 to see the game out. Since Burnley won't be attacking too much, it's another alternative to work around with. with.
That's a seriously solid lineup, and I fully back them to get the job done against Burnley. Let's pivot to the transfer window then. The massive rumour gaining serious traction is Arsenal's interest in West Ham's midfield enforcer, Matheus Fernandes. Credible sources close to the club have confirmed the news, and Arsenal have apparently signalled their intent directly to West Ham should he become available. Mate, what's your read on Fernandes stepping into this Arsenal midfield?
Is it a masterstroke or a massive risk?
Calling Matheus Fernandes a risk is fundamentally incorrect. He would be an absolute masterstroke. We have been crying out for a robust deputy for Declan Rice, and Fernandes is the quintessential like-for-like alternative. Crucially, he can also operate alongside Rice in the middle. He is an elite presser capable of dictating every phase of play. He possesses an exquisite long passing range. With virtually zero hang time, he is technically immaculate, and he navigates tight spaces with ease. He is intensely mobile and tenacious. Securing his signature is effectively signing a number 6, an 8 and a 10 rolled into one. I am entirely behind this pursuit. He represents a financially astute alternative to the hyperinflated midfield market, which subsequently preserves crucial funds for a marquee winger.
So where does that leave Martin Zubimendi and Lewis Skelly going forward? If Fernandes can genuinely do every job in that midfield,
Don't you think it might stunt Lewis Skelly's progression and potentially push Zubimendi out the door? Is Arteta really prepared to take that gamble?
Let me clarify. The acquisition of Fernandes is not a mandate to replace either Zubimendi or Lewis Skelly. Fernandes is emphatically Declan Rice's understudy. We have been sounding the alarm all season regarding Rice's workload. He has accumulated an astronomical amount of minutes. We must thank our lucky stars he isn't an injury-prone player. Arsenal have contested 60 matches this season, the highest volume in Europe's top divisions. Factor in the World Cup this summer, with England likely advancing to the latter stages, and Rice could feasibly clock 70 appearances. That places him in the severe danger zone heading into the new campaign. The abbreviated summer break offers insufficient time to physically recalibrate. Starting the new season relying solely on Rice from the get-go would be tactical negligence. He is far too vital to risk, yet we cannot survive without his profile on the pitch. This is precisely where the Portuguese steps in. He seamlessly assumed that role. Lewis Skelly and Zubimendi are vying for a different position entirely. Neither possesses the specific profile to replace Declan Rice. And therefore, I don't see Fernandes obstructing Lewis Skelly's progression or forcing Zubimendi out. We require elite depth in every department, particularly in the engine room. Furthermore, if Arteta wishes to implement in-game tactical tweaks to suffocate a match, deploying Rice, Lewis Skelly and Fernandes simultaneously would establish an impenetrable midfield block.
You've completely dissected the lad's value to the squad there. To be fair, when I watched his highlight reel, I was genuinely blown away. The lad is absolutely terrific. Just in case our listeners want to see that compilation, we'll link it at the end of this pod. Right, let's touch on one last piece of transfer news gaining momentum. It seems Andrea Berta has begun testing the waters for right-back profiles following Ben White's injury. Reports out of Italy suggest contact has been made regarding the availability of AS Roma's Wesley Franca.
The foundational principle here is that availability trumps ability. Livramento's injury history is a ticking time bomb. Considering Jurrien Timber's recurring fitness issues, signing another player with a fragile physical record is an unacceptable risk, regardless of his undeniable talent. As for Wesley Franca, Roma acquired him specifically to continue their rich heritage of Brazilian right-backs, dating back to the era of Cafu. Look, Wesley is an exceptionally tidy player, infused with natural Brazilian flair, yet highly disciplined in holding the width on the right channel, very much akin to Piero Hincapie's profile on the left. I have analysed his footage extensively, and he would be a highly astute addition, backed by a robust and reliable injury record.